Hey everybody, hope everybody had a great weekend. We're going to keep going with our skyline projects, but the first thing I want you to do is I would like you to create a folder in Google Drive, and I want you to share that folder with me. So instead of me getting a whole bunch of different types of documents, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to create a folder, and I'd like you to start off by basically telling me which period you are in right now. So if you are period 5 and it is day 1, you would start naming your folder 5A. If you are period 2 on day 2, you're going to call it 2B. And that's going to help me stay organized as well as help you stay organized. So day 1 is going to be an A day, day 2 is going to be a B day. And that's how you're going to start off naming your folder. Once you have your period in there, you're going to hit a comma and a space, and you are going to write your last name, and you're going to create that folder. Once you've created that folder, share that with me. Okay. And as you share that folder with me, any document that you create that you want me to see, I want you to put it into that folder. And by putting it into that folder will keep me organized, because then at that point I can just see your folder and go in and grab that. And it'll keep you organized as well. It'll give you a place for your stuff. So let's go with that for this. Looking at these are awesome. Emma, I'm going to throw you on the spot real quick. These are really good. Scrolling down. That's awesome. There are some of these, we're going to continue these because there's other buildings here. You can take your iconic building and build that and design that. But when you take a look at the skyline, look at all of the other buildings that are there. Also realize that there's a lot of smaller buildings here, and everything sits on the ground. So who else can I throw under the spot here? Let's go with Allie. Okay. So the Twin Tower skyline. What I want you to take note of, because I think this was the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Notice how all of these buildings, and this is really good, kind of sit on the work plane itself. When it sits on the work plane, if we get a chance to print these, it's going to print all of these individual towers. And they're basically like chess pieces. You can put them anywhere. They'll print them all separately. So what I want you to do is I want you to add a ground level, and then add and stack those buildings on top of that, so that we have one basic piece with the buildings rising up from them. I thought this was really great and very timely based on based on the days that you guys were doing this. So if you've not been in Tinkercad yet, I added a page, and I'll put a link in this announcement for it, for how to use Tinkercad. This video basically explains it very well, in terms of your push, your pull, your drags, your combining of shapes. And if you haven't signed in yet, you'd sign in using your social media accounts, social media provider, and sign in using Google. You need to make sure too that you're actually creating something. When you first came in, it put you into a tutorial, and that tutorial doesn't necessarily get saved. You need to click create a new design in order to actually create that design. And then once you create that design, you can name it whatever you would want to name it. So also with Tinkercad, it helps to have a wireless mouse. It helps with the rotation. So while you can click and drag here to move this around, if it's easier for you, you can right click and spin it as well. Here's how we name it. So we would click up on this funky IKEA sounding name, and just type in what we'd want. And then you can start dragging your boxes here, and adjusting them to the height that you'd want to put it. Can you get windows in there? Any ledges? Any spires or radio towers coming off the top. What can you do to add detail to these buildings as much as you can? So that's what we're going to work on today, and maybe even Thursday, depending on how far you get. Um, so again, I want to see it in a Google slide, and kind of give me a title slide, the introduction. Maybe why did you choose this? Why did you choose this skyline? Is it because of the buildings? Does it mean something to you? Have you been there? Have you seen it? Uh, what? Tell me something about it, and kind of create a little presentation based on it. So there's that. That's our plan for this week, guys, and I hope you enjoy this one for design. And I'll talk to you soon.